First pick, Joe Burrow. Dom, this one's easy.
No surprise, right? Like, it's locked and loaded. Joe Burrow's going to be the number 1 overall pick. Like, the Bengals are going to take him. Miami might want to try up and trade up and get him. I don't think that's really going to end up happening. Same is kind of true here with Chase Young at number 2 overall. I think that's the pick for the Redskins. I don't think they really consider that they're going to go with Tua there, but I think Young ends up being the pick here at number 2 overall. I think that's the route they choose to go. Things could get a little bit interesting at number 3 overall. I think the Lions would love to trade down. Mel's got them taking Jeffrey Okudah. That's what I've done in a lot of my recent mock drafts. So for me, Mitch, that pick at number 3 makes a lot of sense for Detroit, going with Okudah to replace Darius Slay long-term as your number 1 corner.
And then at number 4, maybe my favorite player in the draft, it's Isaiah Simmons. And I love that you just list him as an athlete, because that's what this guy is. You saw it at the Combine. You saw it at Clemson. And I would absolutely love this pickup for the Giants. But there's just a part of me, Tom, just a part of me that thinks Dave Gettleman, well, he might go with a defensive tackle.
You can't rule it out. It is Dave Gettleman. You can't discount Derek Brown here. Gettleman has liked to take offensive linemen in the draft, but never before in round 1. He's actually never done it. So for me, it comes down to offensive tackle, which I've mocked before, but also Isaiah Simmons. I think Simmons is the type of player that Dave Gettleman would fall in love with, Mitch.
I've fallen in love with Isaiah Simmons, and I think you got to watch the tape. And if you didn't fall in love with this Combine video, I don't know what you're watching. So what is Isaiah Simmons' position? Linebacker? Is it a cornerback type CB? Is it a safety type S? I'm going to type my LB, but this dude's an absolute athlete, so throw it in the comment section.
Yeah, for me, and the reason I asked this is I think I'm going to do something I've never done before in our NFL Draft live coverage. I think I'm just going to list Isaiah Simmons as an athlete. I've never once done that before at any position. It's always been a slippery slope. But I think for Simmons, who I could play at, I think, almost every spot on the defense except on the defensive line, but he could still be an edge rusher, I think I'm just going to put him as an athlete.
Hey, I'm into it. So what position is Isaiah Simmons? Let's go to pick number 5, the Miami Dolphins. Mel Kiper got Tua. This one, again, not too big of a shocker.
Yeah, Tua's medical is going to be a key thing here for the Miami Dolphins in terms of how that checks out. Is he okay medically? Is he not okay medically? The Dolphins, they got the Combine medical, so that's at least something there. But the question beyond that is trying to figure out how much do you trust him? You weren't really able to bring him in for a visit. So if the medical checks out, I think Tua goes before the top 6 picks. If it doesn't, he could be in for a massive Aaron Rodgers-esque draft night slide.
At pick number 6, the LA Chargers, they're going to go with Justin Herbert. So we had Tua go, then Justin Herbert went. So, Tom, obviously, we're going to have to compare these two quarterbacks, aren't we? I mean, when you look at what Tua did at Alabama, what Justin Herbert did throughout his 4-year career at Oregon, I think it's really going to beg that question, maybe who you should have went with. So we got Tua, we got Herbert. Talk me why you think Justin Herbert at pick 6 makes sense.
Well, for Kiper, I think it makes a lot of sense. They certainly need a quarterback. I don't think Tyrod Taylor's the long-term guy. That's not something that I think is going to be the case there. We'll compare these two a lot, and I think because of the medical uncertainty, it might make it a little bit more likely here in terms of maybe Herbert could jump Tua. But I think for the Chargers, I think they like Justin Herbert. I think it makes more sense to them than Jordan Love, which I know McShay loves to mock.
Let's go to pick number 7 now. We got Derek Brown to the Carolina Panthers.
I think for Brown, it fills a need, right? Like they have a giant hole on the defensive line. They've lost Ontari Poe. They have lost Gerald McCoy. Brown's a big boy on the interior. He'll fit well with what that team wants to do on defense. I think this fit makes sense.
At pick number 8, Tristan Wirfs, offensive tackle out of Iowa. Absolutely love this kid, and they're just going to keep on beefing up that offensive line. Kyler Murray now with DeAndre Hopkins.
Tristan Wirfs will slot in day 1 at right tackle. That is a big-time need for Arizona. They already got DeAndre Hopkins. That makes perfect sense for them.
At pick number 9 of Mel Kiper's latest mock draft 3.0, as you can see above, Javon Kinlaw, South Carolina. Was pretty surprised about this one.
I'm not actually all that surprised. I've mocked Kinlaw to South Carolina before. The buzz that I've heard is that teams don't think he's going to make it outside the top 12 picks. So I think for Jacksonville, which fills a need, I think it makes sense.
At pick number 10, the Cleveland Browns, they're going to go with Mekhi Becton, who you want to talk about a big dude that can move really well. That's this guy at pick number 10.
Yeah, Becton will slot in at left tackle. Still a little bit raw, but you took care of your right tackle need with Jack Conklin. Now you got a left tackle in Mekhi Becton. So far, it's been good for Mel Kiper.
At pick number 11, the New York Jets go Jedrick Wills Jr., Alabama.
The Jets have to spend this pick on offense or Kayvon Chasen. Kiper mentioned that in his little article with this. I like the fit for Wills. You can start him at right tackle. He is ready to go. He's a little bit more developed than Mekhi Becton is, but I think his ceiling might be just a little bit lower.
At pick 12 in Mel Kiper's latest mock draft, the Las Vegas Raiders, they go cornerback C.J. Henderson. And I'll be honest, Tom, really surprised with Henderson going to 12 here. I don't like it. I think it's a little bit too early.
Yeah, I'll chime in more on Henderson here in a second in terms of the fit. Talent-wise, I know. Why are you passing on a receiver here? Kiper says, oh, well, they can get a receiver later with two of their first-round picks.
Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb, Henry Ruggs, all on the board.
Exactly. I'm not passing on those guys for C.J. Henderson. I like C.J. Henderson. I like him at 19 for the Raiders, not at 12. I am not passing on one of those dynamic wide receivers to take a corner. Yeah, it's a need. I think if the Raiders pass on one of the big three at 12, I don't think it makes sense because I'm not convinced those guys last to 19. So I don't like this mock draft pick at all.
I'm curious what my Raiders Report fans watch are going to say. So if you haven't already subscribed to the Raiders channel, you can see it below, youtube.com/Raiders Report. Now, I have a special jersey offer, chatsports.com/NFL jersey. If you need a new Josh Jacob jersey, if you need a new Raiders jersey or any NFL jersey, go to the link below, chatsports.com/NFL jersey. If for some reason you don't remember it, we'll put it in the comments. We'll put it in the description below. But it's all your favorite jerseys, favorite players, favorite teams, chatsports.com/NFL jersey. And for a limited time, so listen up, save 25% when you use promo code SPROUT, SPROUT at checkout. Jerseys are normally about $100. When you use promo code SPROUT, they're about $75, 25% off. Again, that's at chatsports.com/NFL jersey. So we go from the Raiders now at pick number 13 in Mel Kiper's latest mock, Jerry Jeudy to the San Francisco 49ers.
Of course, this pick via the Indianapolis Colts as part of the DeForest Buckner trade. I love it. This is a fantastic fit for San Francisco. You bring in Jerry Jeudy, who is an ideal receiver for the Kyle Shanahan offense. He comes in. I comp him to Odell Beckham, who the Niners have been linked to for quite a while right now. This is an ideal pick for San Francisco. If he makes it all the way down to 13, there's not going to be a podium this year, but I think they sprint to the metaphorical podium with the pick. It is an obvious selection for San Francisco. It's a great selection. It's my favorite pick of the mock draft so far.
At pick number 14, Andrew Thomas, Georgia, going to try to beef up that offensive line around Tom Brady.
Yeah, you got to protect Tom Brady. Thomas can come in and it can be an early starter. Georgia left him on an island a lot last year. That's an indication of how much they trust him on that offensive line. If he's there at 14, it's a really good fit and a really good pick.
So who here is watching, loves the NFL draft? Probably most all of y'all. So if you do, subscribe to Chat Sports right now because we are free $99 for the next 365 days where we're going to be putting out videos around the NFL draft, around mocks. And here's a humble brag. We were the #1 most watched NFL draft coverage on the internet last year. It's probably going to happen again this year. It's at youtube.com/chatsportstv. All right, Tom, let's get back into Mel Kiper's latest mock draft where he's got the Denver Broncos going with Henry Ruggs.
I kind of suspect this might be the floor for Henry Ruggs in the draft. I've heard more buzz that NFL teams love him for a good reason. There's actually a path in which he's the first receiver off the board. He is more than just a speedster. He's actually a fantastic route runner, ran a variety of routes at Alabama, If he's there for Denver, I think it's a fantastic pick.
LSU edge, he's off the board next. Kayvon Chasen going to the Atlanta Falcons.
So Kiper acknowledged that they added Dante Fowler in this mock, but they also have Takk McKinley. I don't love the idea of all three of those guys together. I just think those guys are a little bit too similar. You don't want any of them lining up over the interior. How do you get all three of them on the field at the same time if you can't do that? I love the player for Chase on this is the right range for him, but now that they got Dante Fowler, I think the Falcons might potentially pursue an interior defensive lineman or a corner instead at this particular pick.
At pick 17, the Dallas Cowboys select CeeDee Lamb in Mel Kiper's latest mock. What? 17? Tom, go.
Give him to me. I am all aboard. I'm not convinced that Lamb falls this far in the actual NFL draft, but if he does, forget defense. Go all in on the offense. Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb. Ooh, buddy. Find me a better trio at wide receiver in the NFL. I'm not convinced you're going to be able to. This just comes down to, and Kiper said this too, this is just taking the best player on the board. Maybe it's not the biggest need. That's probably somewhere on defense. If Lamb's on the board at 17, I don't care about corner. I don't care about edge. I don't care about anything else. Get me Lamb to Dallas. That is such a fantastic fit. This is an A-plus mock draft pick for me.
If you're not already subscribed to the Cowboys Report channel, you can see the link below. It's the #1 Cowboy show on YouTube. Over 50,000 subscribers. It's youtube.com/Dallas Cowboys Report. At pick number 18 here, DeAndre Swift to the Dolphins. A bit of a head scratcher to me.
It fills a need. I know that they added Jordan Howard in free agency. That's certainly not enough at the position. I would have much preferred offensive linemen. Kind of wonder if Kiper is just trying to find a spot for a back in his mock draft, which I get where he's coming from at that point.
Pick number 19 of Mel Kiper's latest mock. The Las Vegas Raiders go with T. Higgins, wide receiver out of Clemson. And this is also they picked C.J. Henderson at pick 12. I don't like this, Tom.
Why don't you, Mitch?
Because why would you go after a wide receiver in T. Higgins? Nothing against T. Higgins. I like him. He's a good receiver. But you passed on Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb, and Henry Ruggs in this mock draft to take T. Higgins at 19. This is kind of the little bit of what we saw last year in Cleveland Furl. A good player, a little bit of a reach.
Yeah, I don't love it. I know that, the front office there for Vegas likes Clemson players. He brings size. I got some speed concerns. Don't you kind of already have one of him in Tyrell Williams?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
On the same page there.
T. Higgins, good player, not the fit I want. If you go speed, heck, I'd probably actually rather a Denzel Mims or a Justin Jefferson. So we want you to grade Kiper's mock draft for the Raiders. C.J. Henderson, T. Higgins, A, B, C, D, or F. Honestly, Tom, I'd probably give it a D.
Yeah, I don't love it. I would have preferred. I think you might be able to wait on a corner or safety and take one of those guys at 19. I think the drop off at receiver was too great to pass on one at 12 and then get none of the big three at 19. So I'm on board. I don't like this mock draft from Kiper for Vegas.
Pick number 20 here, Antoine Winfield Jr. from Minnesota. He's going to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's an interesting fit. I don't love it for Jacksonville. I think you're okay at nickel corner. DJ Hayden's been fine there. He could play safety. Aren't you maybe going to roll with your guys? Maybe you're not. I'm a big fan of Antoine Winfield. I know Kiper is as well. He called him the best defensive back left on his board. I just don't love this fit for Jacksonville. I think they could have found a better pure safety or a better pure corner still on the board.
Tom, we're going to be live for all 7 rounds of the NFL draft. So how many rounds do y'all watch? Let us know. 1 through 7. The correct answer is all of them. 7. And heck, if they come out with an extra one this year, we're going to be live. And if you want to follow the best dude in the biz when it comes to draft coverage, you can see it below on Twitter. It's Tom Downey at WhatGoingDowney. Tom, I know you're a 7. Heck, if this draft was 50-something rounds, your answer would be 50.
Yeah, it'd be all of them.
So get your votes in. How many rounds of the NFL draft do you watch? Let's keep the show rolling here. We're going to go through some of these a little bit quicker. Justin Jefferson, Denzel Mims. So we'll start with the Eagles at 21, and then the Vikings, the pick number 22, Denzel Mims.
Love it and love it. Mims gives the Vikings a bigger-bodied receiver on the outside. The Eagles need some reliability at receiver. Justin Jefferson, the day one starter at slot.
At pick number 23, ooh, this is a juicy Jordan Love. You love this or no?
I do, because it's the Patriots. Jordan Love's success in the NFL will be determined by where he goes. I think something was kind of true for Patrick Mahomes. He went to a perfect fit. Love is not Mahomes. Let's make that very, very clear. But Love needs to go to a good spot, or we could end up flaming out quickly like Deshaun Kaiser did. The Patriots, that's a good spot.
Let's go now to pick number 24, the New Orleans Saints. They get a linebacker in Kenneth Murray out of Oklahoma.
I like the fit for the Saints. I think it's good value. This is about the right range for Murray. They need help at the linebacker spot, especially young help. I love the fit for Murray in New Orleans.
Let's keep the show rolling here. A.J. Epinesa to the Minnesota Vikings at defensive end.
It's fine. It fills a need. I probably would have pursued a corner because you got some giant question marks right there. I think you might have found better value there. But Epinesa does fill a need across from Danielle Hunter, so I can't hit on it too much.
Let's go to the Miami Dolphins' third pick in the first round. This one's from the Houston Texans, Josh Jones, Houston.
I would have preferred that the Dolphins take him at 18 and then maybe wait for a back or double dip on the offensive line instead. So I love the value here for Jones at 26, a potential future starter at left tackle.
This pickup is pretty interesting here for the Seahawks team, who are always hard to pick who they're going to take. Yetur Gross-Matos out of Penn State.
Yeah, when Kiper put out this mock draft, there was still a whole bunch of uncertainty around the edge rusher spot. So from that perspective, it fills a need, and I think back end of round one is the right range for Gross-Matos.
The Baltimore Ravens, they have picked 28. They're going to go with the linebacker out of LSU, Patrick Queen. Baltimore, love their linebackers.
Ravens love those SEC players. Queen would be a fantastic fit in that defensive scheme. I think the both linebacker picks, Murray and Queen, make a whole lot of sense.
This is a new name here, Tom, for the Tennessee Titans. Ezra Cleveland out of Boise.
He's a little bit more athletic than some of the other offensive linemen, and we've seen those guys get pushed up in drafts before. I kind of like him more on the left side than I do the right side, so I don't love the fit for Tennessee, but tackle is a need. I'm not sure how long Dennis Kelly will hold on to that right tackle job.
I'll be honest, Tom. I didn't look ahead of the notes at this mock draft. I didn't see that he had Chase Claypool going to the Green Bay Packers at pick number 30. Had a great combine, but this is early.
Now, when Kiper put this out, Devin Funchess had not yet signed. So I get that, but
still,
I don't like it. I thought there were better receivers on the board. Claypool does have great size, great speed. So did EQ St. Brown, who the Packers drafted much later than Chase Claypool. And frankly, Claypool's not a great route runner. You could use him as that big slot tight end. I get the mindset that he could sneak into the back end of round one, but I don't think it's a great pick by the Packers. I would be surprised and frankly disappointed if Claypool went in round one.
At pick number 31 for the San Francisco 49ers, Noah Igbenogany out of Auburn. And remember, at pick number 13 in this draft, they took Jerry Jeudy.
So Judy's pick you still love, of course. As for this one, it does fill a need. Cesar Ruiz was on the board. I might have gone that route if I was San Francisco, frankly, if I were in charge of this mock. Corner is a need for San Francisco because Richard Sherman is aging. Caldo took a huge step back in the second half of last year. I don't know if Emmanuel Moses is really that guy. Now, Igbenogany checks one of the two typical benchmarks that the Niners style of defense looks at. Number one, converted wide receiver, ball skills. He can be that guy despite what the production might say. But Igbenogany does not fit the size requirements. He's an undersized corner. The length is good for his size, but he's not an outside super long arm corner. So from that perspective, I don't know if he's quite the right fit for what San Francisco wants.
So how about this? Before Tom gets his grades in, we want you to grade Mel Kiper's mock draft for the 49ers. So at pick 13, Jerry Jeudy. At pick number 31, Igbenogany. So A, B, C, D, or F. Tom, what grade are you giving it?
I'm probably going to give it a B. It's A++ for Jeudy, but I don't love Igbenogany quite as much.
Pick number 32 here, we got Cesar Ruiz, offensive lineman out of Michigan, going to the Chiefs.
The Chiefs need some interior offensive line help. I think Ruiz does sneak into the back end of round one, mainly because Tennessee could look at him. The Packers could look at him. The Chiefs make some sense there. The Dolphins make a lot of sense. The Ravens now could use some help there in light of some retirements that they've dealt with. So I think he sneaks into round 1. If he's there at 32, I'd probably prefer a corner still for Kansas City, but it does make sense.
So Mel Kiper did leave a few notable players out, so we're going to make note of them. You got Christian Fulton, cornerback out of LSU. Xavier McKinney, safety from Bama. Grant Delpit, another safety from LSU. Jeff Gladney from TCU. And then Laviska Shenault Jr. Tom, out of the players that you see on screen, which one do you think is the most surprising that Mel Kiper left out?
I think McKinney, because he's mocked McKinney as high as 17 before, so that was a surprise to me. I think McKinney goes round 1. I'm not convinced Delpit does. I think Jeff Gladney does as well. He'd be a better fit for the Niners than Big Downey was. And Fulton has been left out of a lot of the bigger mock draft analysts, and they do their mock drafts based on what they're hearing, and they still get a bunch of stuff wrong because they're not as good as me. Humble brag, not even humble at all. I would not be surprised if Fulton doesn't end up going in round 1. That's just the vibe I'm getting from the NFL.